Hello, what's up and how's it going YouTube? My name is Nico Tulo and today we're going to go over the top 6 pirate rotations. I know there's a lot of you guys that are new to the game or are returning players and don't really know where to grind at pirates. I've seen so many people only know about the main spot rotation, which is included in this as well. But there are a few more, especially for low gear players who can get started at Pirate Island. Without further ado, let's get going. At number 6 common is the so-called cage rotation. Well, I don't really know if it's called that way, but well, I call it that way. So let's go with it for now. I don't know the official name of it. Let's just go with it for now. This rotation is very good for new players that are trying to get into the game, and yeah, just approaching the Pirate Island as a new player is something you need to keep in mind, because the whole island is basically taken most of the time. So you want to find a spot where, well, the competition is low, since your gear is probably not as high as it would be if you were a veteran player. So as a veteran player, this rotation is definitely not something you want to do, because the mob density is really low. But if you're new to the game and you just want to try out pirates, or, well, try to catch up to the top of the mountain in this game, this rotation is very good. It's one of the rotations I did when I came back, and it helped me to, well, figure out a way to grind the pirates with less competition. Especially on the Olvia channels, this becomes a big problem, right? So also, something you need to keep in mind is that the cages I'm talking about, the name of this rotation, are not really too good to kill. These little things don't really give you any experience. I mean, if they're on your way, I guess you can do it. But it's definitely not necessary, and definitely not something you need to keep in mind when you kill this rotation. This rotation is very quick and has, as I said, a low mob density, so if you're... I would actually assume like 160, 150 AP should be enough for this. Really nice rotation if you're new. And I hope this one helps you out a lot. I think I grinded this probably the most on Pirate Island when I came back, so it helps a lot, and the competition is arguably the lowest on the entire island. Now you jump down that little mountain and you're back at the beginning. Number 5 is the back or second main rotation. All of you guys probably know the main rotation already. It's right behind me, and this is basically a substitution rotation if the main spot is taken and you don't want to walk that far. This one also is very, well, not also, but it has really high group density. Now, what I mean by that is that there are a lot of different mob groups you can approach, but you don't have to approach, like in this area. So you don't need to kill these groups if you feel like you're wasting your time with them. So you have a lot of decisions to make this rotation, well, your own, right? Try to add as many groups as you can, though, as long as it's not heavily contested, of course. Just making this rotation as profitable as possible. Even though you have to keep in mind that there are a lot of people on Pirate Island most of the time, and the competition is very high. So as long as you have a rotation where the mobs basically spawn right when you approach them, that's the perfect way to rotate on Pirate Island. Also, this rotation is slightly better than the cage rotation, probably a lot better than the cage rotation. But on the other hand, it's a lot more contested as well, so keep that in mind. If you're a new player and you want to approach Pirate Island, this is probably the step after cage, but it's also, the competition rises heavily. And we're already approaching the end, semi. There are a lot of little cams like this, so if you're a class with, well, high clear speed and high movement speed, like a Musa or a Ranger or a Berserker, this grinding rotation is a lot better than it is for me as a tamer, since I would love to have a rotation where I have a lot of mobs gathered in one little spot. Now this is a part of the main rotation right here. So you will be struggling to find this little area to kill because there are a lot of people here. So technically this area is not a part of it. But you can of course kill it since it's, well, basically a part of the rotation. And that's it for the back or second main spot rotation. Number 4 we have the beach rotation. On the very left side of the map, the far left side of the map, there's a little beach down here. Let's approach it. Now as you can see, the mob density is actually fairly high, and a lot of people don't even know about this. So if you're a returning or new player and your gear doesn't really allow you to grind main spot solo or mountain / jungle, which will be the next 2 or 3, well, spoilers, then this one is definitely a good way to make money and a good way to catch up to the people who are at the top rotations on Pirate Island. And there you can see the little beach. Secret little hideout. Also, you can grind this in a group very efficiently because there are some rotations or some mob groups that are split up, but you're able to kill in your rotation. But for the most part, you want to just kill the area down here at the beach and just rotate around the little resort, I would always say. Now that we approach the end of the rotation, for most people this won't be enough, since, well, you're clearing far too fast. You can also add this little area right here to your rotation, or if you're a really fast class, you could also add this area to your rotation. That's it for the beach rotation. Let's get over to number 3. On number 3 we have the mountain rotation. As you can see, it's on the, well, slight right of the map. And, well, it's on a mountain, so therefore it's called the mountain rotation. And, well, let's get started. This one is probably easier than doing the solo main spot rotation, which will be, spoilers, the number 2 for today. This one is a slight bit easier and also shorter, so if you're a little less geared than I am, for example, this one might be better than the main spot rotation. You can also add this group in the back right here, but it's all, well, for the research purposes of today, I think the normal rotation should be just fine. Now, it's up to you to kill these small mobs right here. I mean, it's kind of beneficial if you have the time to do so, but this is the main, this and the one below the mountain, which I will show you in just a second. Those two are the main, well, income groups, right? Because they're the biggest mob groups in the rotation. As you can see, this mob group right here is probably one of the biggest mob groups, in fact, on Pirate Island. It's probably even bigger than the main spot. Probably a lot bigger, actually, because it also has like 3 or 4 crazy jacks on it, which makes this even better. That's why, arguably, this rotation can be better than the main spot rotation. Because it's shorter, has a higher mob density, but lacks well, the amount of mob groups. So here we are again. That's where we started. That was the mountain rotation. And here we are at the main spot rotation. As you can see on the map, it's at the very, well, beginning of the entire island where you normally put your boat to. And, well, let's get started. I will show you the whole rotation. Now, this rotation I'm doing solo, as you can see. Well, I'm always grinding solo, as you guys already know, so that's not really special to me. But let's just kill these mobs. I'm not looting too much. We can kill these as well. Just for the purpose of showing you guys what's going on. I will kill all the mobs though. Now you go over here on that little pedestal or stage or whatever. Clean this up. I'm a tamer. I don't even have my pet out, and I'm talking about being a tamer. Not like intended. The main spot is on number 2 because I'm basically a tamer. That's why this is better than the mountain rotation. I know that some people might argue that the mountain rotation is even better than this one, since it has more crazy jacks and just a, well, quicker rotation speed. But I'm a tamer, so I can pull most of these mobs in one group, so it's really fast for me. A lot faster than it would be for other classes. So you need to keep that in mind. Since, well, this rotation top 10 or top 6 is out of my perspective as a tamer, and therefore the main spot rotation is a little bit better than the mountain rotation, even though arguably they're both really good. Also, as always, you need to get creative when you have a group. So you need to pull a lot more different mob groups if you want to have an efficient rotation as a 5-man group or even as a 2-man group. And here we are back at the beginning. This is the solo rotation for the main spot. Number 1, jungle rotation. Well, that is not a big surprise for most of you. Well, it's on the very right of Kuwait Island. And this rotation has by far the most crazy jacks on it and the most amount of groups combined with the highest mob density. So you can't do anything wrong with grinding this rotation, even though, disclaimer, this rotation is full of high geared people. So if you're not really confident in your play yet and not really confident in your gear, you probably shouldn't even approach this island, because you will get killed most of the time. Or, well, not this island, but this rotation, not bad. Also, a little disclaimer: when you get killed at the far right part of this rotation, you will get spawned somewhere else. You will get spawned on this island, not at the docks of Pirate Island. So keep that in mind whenever you fight someone at this rotation. It's always risky, and it takes up a lot of time to swim back from that minor island on the right. Yeah, and you need to jump down this little mountain to get to this part of the rotation, where you basically walk up the mountain again, since, well, it's a rotation, right? Also, something you guys need to keep in mind with this rotation is there are a lot of different ways to actually rotate here. There's so many different mob groups you can kill, but you don't have to kill. So this rotation basically has no limit when it comes to your gear. There's so many different mob groups, and even the very high geared people with like 250 AP can grind this rotation without any lack of density or mobs. This is more like the veteran rotation of Pirate Island. I would actually recommend more AP than I have right now and better pets than I have right now. If you guys didn't know, I have 3 T1 pets and 1 T3 pet, and that's not very good for this. So now we approach the end of the rotation again. Keep that in mind. I didn't loot anything, and the mob still spawned back. So even I am too slow for this part of the rotation. And here we are again. That was the whole jungle rotation. That was the whole video as well, guys. Thank you for tuning in as always. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for the support and love. And the little pirate is leaving again. Have a nice day. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. Until then, guys, and maybe we see each other on Twitch as well. Peace.